undefeated up to this point, managed to come back and win out, or are One Ties and X going to continue their streak, at least for today, and be the champions for this season? Exile, it's been a quite a road. It feels like somehow, even though it's only been one day to get to this point. But Tendon is in this server. He's re-downloaded the game. Hopefully, he is locked and loaded and ready to go.
Yeah, this is a quite an eventful last couple hours, but I'm excited to see how this one goes. Like we had a great best of three just before the reset, got very close. It came down to the wire, so let's see if we can keep it close again, or maybe it could just be a complete stomp for one of these teams. I mean, they're completely warmed up. Well, actually, probably not. I mean, they just took a 30-minute break, but they're fresh mindset now. We're on the first map again. Maybe we're gonna see some different kind of class lineups here, but yeah, I'm excited to see maybe a comeback arc for X and One Ties, or we can see Clux and Tendon actually confirm why they are the best team currently playing. But we are live now in the first map, round one.
Yep, and is going to be both scouts immediately taken down. It's going to be Tendon and X wins that with the shotgun. Something that we saw so often in the last best of three was X with that shotgun. Not going to work out there as he gets sent up sky high and taken down. Now Clux going to be able to help take down One Tie, so it is going to be one apiece. We do have Tendon up on Soldier, which he did previously on this map. Every other map he opted to go for demo and was very good at it, but Soldier not maybe as up to par as his demo, but he's going to have to try and make the most of it here in a 1v2 situation. Very weak, having to try and play around One Ties. He was dodging all of his spam very well. X is just there with the shotgun just to add insult to injury, and it's going to be a 3-1. Little bit of an early lead for One Ties and X.
Great bomb coming out of X, and actually killing both the Soldier and the Scout there with a great entry from him. 4-1 for the side of One Ties and X. As Clux tries to find his pick for his team, but One Ties does end up cleaning him up. Tendon with the trade, though, and a one versus one here. X with 100 HP, Tendon on 2. I mean, this is a situation you just really can't win. He knew that. He's killing himself with his own rocket, resetting the round. Another round going to One Ties and X. Tendon looking for the fight on the train versus his counterpart. Doesn't find the clean kill, though, as the round resets into round 8. A lot of damage being traded out. This looks very even. However, X is playing very passive on his side with the pistol coming out from One Ties to clean up Tendon. Will he actually get the pick on the Clux with the pistol? He does not. Clux gets its own pistol kill to confirm a second round for his team. And got non-stop fighting on this map. Really showcases how amazingly fast this game mode really is.
Oh my god, very, very fast down to the wire. It's only going to be Clux. Is going to be able to find one. Is going to find the other onto One Ties. They're playing around this crate, trying to get the damage. A lot more happening onto Clux, and it is going to be One Ties winning it with the pistol. So it is going to be 8-2. Similar thing that we saw last time, One Ties and X having a very commanding lead and presence on this first map. The first round was similar. I don't know if it was as big of a point differential as it is at the moment, but it was kind of similar. So are Clux and Tendon going to be able to find something and try and come back in? It is 10-3. Tendon up on that high ground, doing a great damage actually on the One Ties. Is going to be able to get the kill, but X with a rocket immediately takes him out. Now Tendon bombing in. They want to isolate the Scout. They do manage to do so, but X is on the high ground. He's got so much more health with that shotgun out, just ready to shoot him down at a moment's notice. A little bit of taunting, actually saying nice shot from X with the voice line. So maybe a little bit of a BM trying to get into the mental of these players.
He does almost die in that attempt though as well, but they do get the kill and then trade a round afterwards. Another round though just happening for X and One Ties. 13-4. This round deficit is ginormous for the side of Clux and Tendon. Will they be able to come back from this? Tendon with a great rock onto One Ties to keep it a round closer. With the bomb coming out onto One Ties, gets the great shots from Clux and Tendon together with their hit scan. Another great kill onto X, and the rounds are kind of seeping back into the side of Clux and Tendon, but a bomb coming in for both soldiers, and they do win their ones, actually. Both counterparts for Clux and Tendon. Oh, great damage coming out of Tendon again. There's such, the tides are turning so quickly in these rounds. I mean, you're gonna start thinking, what is X and One Ties thinking right now? They're losing round after round here. Clux had a crazy kill streak. Does finally end up dying to X. Tendon may be able to get a kill of his own. He's not here. X getting the kill, bringing them back. And another attempt to bomb here. I mean, this is a good strategy coming out of Tendon and Clux here. Just keep bombing over and over again and see how many kills you can get. Another bomb attempt going in. Clux getting the pick on the X, and wow, the aggression is working so amazing right now.
It really is. Tendon is having so much success with that bombs, and same thing from clux. Going to be able to find another, and they have taken what I think was at one point a 12-2 lead from One Ties and X and made it only 15-12. So really great comeback coming out from clux and Tendon. They're going to be able to find one onto X. Tendon just on but not high ground, and these bombs have been working like a treat. Going to be going in, not going to be able to find nearly as much damage onto X, but they do find One Ties, and now it is only going to be X all by his lonesome. He's got a lot of work to do. He's not going to be able to put in the hours, and it does go down. Now immediately One Ties just getting run at by clux, and what was looking like, I would say, almost a sure one round for One Ties and X has completely deteriorated. It is still doable for them, but it's not nearly as guaranteed as it was. One Ties tries to play around the rock, and for the first time, clux and Tendon take a lead, albeit only by 1 point.
The comeback is insane here. Clux and Tendon with the crazy synergy to win out these rounds, but now it's a tied game. Round 33, 1v1 from One Ties and Tendon. 10 with full HP. Is going to be able to kill the scout here with the full load of rockets and the shotgun. Such close HP. Again, One Ties have been in a situation. He's played that mid-range, and he does get the kill into Tendon, giving the edge again to One Ties and X in rounds. But now it looks like it's going back into an even round setup. And again, X playing very passive on his side, waiting for them to push here. This time around, Clux does become the kill. It was working very good for them when he just continues the bomb, which he is doing again here. Tendon looking for the bomb on the X, but however, he's getting cleaned up pretty quickly. Clux was not able to try to find the trade for Tendon's life there, and it's going to be a very hard thing for him to do this moving forward. Last round potential for One Ties and X to edge out this map. Crazy shots being hit by Clux onto One Ties. X living here. Tendon with 59 HP was not able to help his teammate, and the round is over. One Ties and X coming back, clean sweep. Honestly, not very clean, but a comeback arc nonetheless for Clux and Tendon. Almost made it there.
They did indeed, and that was really great comeback potential from clux and Tendon, but also great from One Ties and X to not let the comeback scare them too much, to still play their game and be able to close it out. Tendon going to go in for that initial bomb, gets absolutely demolished, and is not going to have nearly as much success. It is something to be said that just the way that this map is structured, it is essentially just kind of like a blind bomb for Tendon every single time. I don't even know if he can guarantee which class he's bombing. You just got to go in, make sure that he tries and hits his shots. Not working for these first three, and is going to be going in for the bomb on the scout. Sorry, there was an ice cream truck outside my house. And I don't know if that picked up as a I got a little bit scared there.
No,
but the scouts.
Ooh, Clux with a crazy shot into One Ties. Great damage, great kill. Hopefully you're not getting too hungry thinking about that ice cream, but ooh, a round being given to One Ties and X. 5-1. I think there's a little bit of lag for the side of Clux, but we're still playing it out here. Clux on scout, he should be okay. Dude, when X gets in the positions to actually do damage, he does the damage, man. He's doing so much damage here. However, he does get traded or killed there pretty quickly, as the bomb does come in from Tendon. 1v1 coming in from Clux versus One Ties, to Clux hitting his shots through the lag, I guess, which is perfect to see as a scout. And man, okay, we're in a round situation. We were at the beginning of the first round. Can they come back from this, from Clux and Tendon?
Yeah, it seems like Tendon has moved away from going for the initial bomb. Now it is just going to be X with that shotgun, and he has been so consistent with it. Now, they're trying to play a little bit slower for Clux and Tendon, but it's not working out. It just kind of plays right in to One Ties and X, as they once X gets into that position, like you said, he is so efficient with it. Not able to win the 2v1 there, but it's still a 10-3 lead for him and One Ties. He's going to get bombed. They managed to take down Tendon and Clux as well, 11-3. Now we do see the initial bombs coming out from Tendon, trying to get that initial ground early on, but Clux does fall in Tendon as well. 12-13, bombing the scout. One Ties trying to dodge, doing a lot of damage, and they're going to be able to find two as well. 13-3, 10-point differential. It's looking like this should be a very easy round for One Ties and X, unless Clux and Tendon find something in the last moments like they did previously.
They had a really crazy streak in the first round, gathering almost like 10 rounds in a row, but this time around I think there's a little bit of a read from X and One Ties and how to play against the aggression that Tendon and Clux do. However, the 1v1 matchup versus clux and one ties seems very clux sided, so maybe that's something we can keep looking forward to fight, kind of seeing if he can keep winning those 1v1s. However, he is met now with a soldier and not really forced to take it. He goes right back into the 1v1 with the scout here and does end up losing it, so it was a nice attempt. He sees the exact same play. However, good damage coming out of Tendon, but sinks damage from both sides of red onto their counterparts. Damage coming out from both sides here. Winning the 1v1 clux again onto one ties. Tendon, very low HP. X being able to live such high amounts of HP at the end of these fights is the biggest reason why they're staying alive in these rounds and winning out so many rounds in a row.
Yeah, doing really well not to take any unnecessary damage and just be there in the late game. Like right here, he's right there just to help shoot Tendon in the back. Now he's gonna get bombed. Nice air shot. Yeah, coming out from Tendon, but it's not gonna net him a kill. Is clux gonna be able to clutch up? Does find one, does find two actually. He was so weak there and does clutch up. He's gonna have to do a lot more of that because it's only 2 points away from one ties and X and winning this first map. Only 1 point now. Is gonna get bombed by Tendon, trying to see if he can find anything. Clux does find one. They do find two. They're gonna have to do a lot more of that. XL basically play flawlessly if they want any hope of taking this first map.
And it looks like the first map does actually end up going to the side of X and one ties. So the winners of the last best of 3 are actually up a map already in the second best of 3 bracket reset. However, they did win the first map 2-0 in the first bracket reset, which was Maple Pass again. So this is a situation that clux and Tendon were in it already, Papa Tense. So, you know, they're already prepared for the second map. They know what they need to do. So now they're getting ready for their chance at, you know, kind of a result, same result as the last best of 3. So we'll see if they can do it again. Tendon on demo probably in this in the second map, as he did in the first best of 3. They were able to edge out a win in that second map previous, and it was very efficient. So maybe he could be able to do the same thing again. X and one ties will be on their same classes, Soldier and Scout, and clux again on Scout. That's my read, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to change that class kind of lineup there.
Yep, it worked at least for clux and Tendon, having the Scout in demo was enough to be able to send them to a third map in a very similar position last time in this 3-map run. So they're going to go for something similar. And for X and one ties, it was a very close game, even if, as a clux did mention in the DMs, it was annoying to play against. We'll have to see if even through that annoyance, they're going to be able to once again secure victory. It's only going to be Tendon, last one alive in this first kind of battle here. And he is going to go down. So a little early 1-0 for one ties and X on the second map.
I think clux is AFK right now, so there might be a bit of difficulty for both teams, maybe just for clux, but yeah, he definitely DC'd here, so there is an internet issue. Maybe there's going to be a reset of this round. They did lose a round, so that's a bit problematic, but we'll have to see how they figure that out. But I definitely think that this map is definitely there's a lot of kind of uncertainty of who's going to win the second map. I will say it was just going to be Tendon and clux again, but the rounds were so close that last time we watched that it could just go to X and one time. They could just end out in 2 maps, which could be a very unfortunate thing for clux and Tendon, but you know, a very great thing for X and one ties coming out of coming out of that losers bracket.
Yeah, as I guess we are going to go live. I don't know if those rounds that happened previously are going to be counted, but they can't be thinking about that too much as they are in the thick of it. Tendon nice pipe onto X is going to be able to make it a tie game. I don't know if we have word if it actually is a tie game or if it is still a couple of rounds in favor for one ties and X. Okay, so it is going to be tied. The score that we see here is going to be the score. Those first 2 rounds are not going to be counted, as it's now going to be 2-1 in the favor of Tendon and clux.
Yep, same kind of rounds here going out. Tendon and clux with the advantage here. One ties 14 HP versus clux and Tendon. Full HP Tendon, but you know, we've seen scenarios where even a full HP demo versus a 10 HP scout basically means even playing field there. X doing his playstyle normally, playing behind the train, waiting for his opportunity to get aggressive, tries to bomb clux, his shotgun right on his head with 24 HP. Is X able to maybe find a kill onto Tendon? With the shotgun, he might actually be able to do it. 40 HP going down, 35 HP, 13, 1 HP for Tendon. X, all he has to do is outmaneuver his stickies with the shotgun, and it prongs right on his head to hit the kill, to get the kill onto X. Great sticky coming out of Tendon to get the round here. with the advantage they have. Ooh, dies to his own sticky, but a great attempt nonetheless. Good work coming out of Tendon overall.
Yeah, really great work, and just having so much more impact on the demo, especially on this map. Is going to be able to try and help take down One Ties, who's dodging the spam very well, but is eventually going to get taken down 5-2. As you can see, X playing passively, now going to go for a little bit of a later bomb. Actually gets onto clux very well and is going to have enough damage to help take him down with One Ties. One Ties is going to be able to avenge his fallen teammate and takes down Tendon 3-5. So very close. As you did earlier say, this map was extremely close the last time out. These two guys, or two teams, sorry, did play on it. It is going to be Tendon jumping down to help try and take down One Ties. He's one pipeable. And Tendon does get the pipe, so makes it 3-6.
Seeing a lot of good demo variants here on Badlands Middle City. As we kind of expected, Badlands demo is very strong in MGE, and he's showcasing it right now in this Grand Finals EU 2v2 against a soldier and a scout, which, you know, is a weaker matchup for a demo in realism, but in this MG kind of game mode, demo is so strong on a map like this, so he's showcasing it right now to everyone watching. It's kind of something people have known about, but again, he's showcasing it. But against a scout and a 1v1, it is still going to be problematic for him, which he does lose pretty often. Great air sticky onto the soldier. One Ties with 3 HP. Clux knows it gets the final kill on the Clux. X dropping down with his shotgun, maybe able to get the kill onto Clux, but does not. 7-5, Tendon in the lead once again, or consistently still in the rounds. Clux trying to find the one with One Ties. He gets the 2-shot though onto Clux with a full HP scout and a demo with this low amount of HP. I mean, what can you really do? He does end up getting chipped down by X's shotgun, getting the round 6-7 for One Ties and X to kind of come close to kind of tying up this game here, but not if Clux has anything to say about it. He does get the round, so there is still going to be that advantage for Tendon and Clux.
Oh my god, that is going to be X launched up sky high, and Tendon does find it, but he's not going to be able to find the necessary damage onto One Ties to be able to salvage that round, so it is going to be 7-8. X with the bomb going to rotate forward and actually does crater to his death, so it is going to be a scout v demo. You've seen this so many times, Exile, and once again, it does seem like One Ties is just going to play that distance and slowly chip down Tendon, which he does so. 8-8 tie game. And we knew this was going to be close. It's proving to be close. X with a bomb, very influential one as well, going to help take down both of the two guys, Clux and Tendon. Now, going in for another shotgun out at the ready. Gets some great damage, but hits a pipe or eats a pipe, and that's going to be 9-9.
Yeah, rounds are now evening out for both teams here. Tendon and Clux are in the driver's seat, though, as they confirm an advantage already with the first round gotten in this even fight. Oh, with this fight looking very scarce for both teams here. One Ties down to 4 HP. Clux up being at 100 HP here. Gets the pistol shot onto One Ties to get the confirmed kill. But it is X versus Clux. And X knows he can win these with the shotgun. He doesn't actually get the shot off when he needs to, though. So we will get picked off by Clux. 11-9 advantage for Tendon and Clux here. Surf coming out from Tendon onto the soldier. However, One Ties gets cleaned up by Clux, actually, saving his demo's life. And Tendon will help him by killing the soldier in return. Again, Clux with a great shot onto One Ties. He will be fighting the soldier next year with a lot of HP. He will actually be able to kill him there. So 13-9. It's already looking super good for Tendon and Clux, but will they be able to pursue this advantage forward into the end of the round?
Well, with Clux going down, not going to be super beneficial for them. Tendon just trying to dodge and have to keep his head on a swivel as both the players just being able to shoot him down, send him back into another one. Now it's going to be their turn to try and 2v1 One Ties, and they are successful. 10-14. Rushing forward, Clux super weak, 4 health once again, but it doesn't even matter. Tendon had stickies at their feet and is able to death them. Now 10-15. Rushing forward, you can see they're playing passively. X and One Ties working well. They're able to take down One and Clux. Tendon super weak is going to go down. X with that shotgun hitting them very consistently. Now, they're once again X playing super passive, not going for the bombs on these past few rounds, kind of baiting Tendon and Clux into them. Not going to work out as he gets wrapped around through shithouse, and Clux finding both there, 11-16. Only 4 away from them getting the first round on the second map.
Yep, 3 rounds now left for Tendon and Clux to confirm this first round in map 2. Lots of early damage coming out from Tendon onto X, getting the kill onto him, and Clux again winning his matchup very convincingly, honestly. He's going for it again here, kind of his specialty. Is just running at that scout and trying to find that pick when he can. However, it gets kind of antsy and gets ran into by X's shotgun. So it's down to tendon to win a 1v2. No, those fights are winnable, but he unfortunately did not win it there. But there's always a glimpse of hope that he can win those 1v2 as a demo with the multitude of stickies he can just place and shoot. So, however, Clux does end up getting picked up by X. X with great rockets and shotgun to boot. It is 2 rounds away for Tendon and Clux to win this round, though, so all they gotta do is kind of edge out this last couple of fights here. One tie is 14 HP, doesn't get picked up by Clux. One more round for Tendon and Clux to get this first round in this map, too, which they eventually do get here. So the first round being won by Tendon and Clux in map 2, keeping them in the game longer.
Yep, it does just a little bit. They're going to have to win another one here if they want to win the second map and have any shot of holding on to being the reigning champions from Season 1. As a, oh, that's going to be a nice rocket coming out from X to start things off on the second round of map 2. It is just going to be Tendon walking forward at the scout. Does a little bit of damage, but there was also X right behind him that he would have had to take care of. Now it is going to be a nice early kill actually onto one ties X all by his lonesome. Is he going to be able to do anything here? He's only at 42 health, and a pipe to the face is not going to help matters, so it is going to be a tie game. Now X with the bomb onto the demo, going to force him back. Meanwhile, the scouts fighting on below ground. X is actually going to be able to help take down the demo, but Clux does manage to pick up X. They're both so weak, and Clux does clutch up 2-1. Really great stuff from him there, and getting his team a very early fragile lead.
Clux manages to clutch up when it matters there so consistently in these games, and I'm super impressed to see him doing this in this best of 3 already bracket reset. Going for the Scout v Scout. Will he take the fight aggressively and win it out for his team? He does not, but it was a very good attempt. One tie is confidently dodging his shots there, able to clean up the kill. X bombing aggressively into Tendon here. As I say that, though, Clux is now losing the 1v1 against one ties, so it's a bit of a kind of a table turner there in terms of the 1v1. The Tendon again, 3 HP, gets pistoled down by one ties. The rounds are certainly still in Tendon and Clux's favor, so there's a little bit of breathing room for both teams still as the rounds just now started. But Tendon with the great sticky onto one ties, finally winning his 1v1 honestly against one ties, even though it was kind of, you know, right as his teammate died, but he does end up winning it there. Great pistols coming out of Clux onto X. X with 10 HP. The Tendon does end up getting the kill to clean up the damage. And he does get ran out by both the Scout and the Soldier this time, but trading so much HP in order to finally kill Tendon that now it's a 1v1 with both players low HP, but Clux knows he has lower HP, then he does end up dying to one ties. Rounds still pretty much the same as they were before. Advantage still for Tendon and Clux.
Still is now Tendon up against the Soldier of X. X trying to do his best to dodge all the projectiles, is doing very well, but is he going to be able to get enough damage? He's only at 5, doesn't matter. A stick or a pipe is going to net Tendon and Clux the battle going in their way. He's trying his best. He's just lurking around, but he runs into a sticky. Really great sticky from Tendon, predicting that beautifully. And now it's going to be 4-7. X with a late bomb, doing a lot of damage onto Clux, but his teammate does fall. Is he going to be able to find anything here? They're all so weak. It could be doable, but not when Clux just runs in and gets a nice meat shot. 4-8. That's going to be a bomb once again coming out from X onto the demo. Nicer from Tim on the high ground, but not able to win that one against one ties. It's going to be 5-8.
As one pass dies here, another round going over the Tendon and Clux for the advantage even further. 4-round advantage for against one ties and X. Actually, as I said, another round is won, so it's 5 rounds advantage. 10 more to go, and they win map 2 here. One going down by X and Clux here, but however, X is very low HP. Clux taking the final meat shot to finish off the kill. Great showing from Clux again, and Tendon with the damage. Great pistol from Clux again. Great pipe coming out of Tendon, out of lower. I mean, that was just like a long-range pipe that hits the Scout. Amazing shot. Clux becoming a kill immediately here to one ties, and the pistol coming out as well to clean it up here. Great advantage in rounds still for the side of Clux and Tendon, so they should be able to just kind of ease it back and play their strengths how they have been already, and they should be able to edge out a win potentially here. But if X and one ties have anything to say about it, it should be here in this round right here.
Yeah, and they're doing really well at making sure that these bombs for X, anytime he does go for them, he's taking so much damage and not able to give a lot out in return. But now it's going to be a 1v1, and once again, one ties is going to be able to win that. Now X opting not the bomb, just letting the players walk to him. He's on the aggressive, a lot of damage on the 10. He is going to have to fall into the low ground. Can he get the sticky to be able to do it? No, X with the shotgun is going to be able to close it out 8-14. So Still, Tendon and Clux in the lead, but a nice couple rounds going the favor of One Ties and X. Now, One Ties up against Videmo. Rushing forward, he does eat a bite, but it doesn't matter. He's still got the damage on his side, 9 to 14. X, good bomb coming in, does a lot of damage, but does fall. One Tie is able to clean up and avenge his teammate. Now, rushing forward onto Clux. A lot of damage, but Clux actually getting it really quickly. Gonna make it 9 to 15.
Yep, this fight's looking very much red-sided here. Actually, One Time's going down to 25 HP. Tendon is, again, a lot of HP himself, but a Scout versus the Demo, it's very much just a Scout's world in these situations. These pipes do miss. One roller could have potentially killed him, but he does end up dying to One Time's scatter. It's 15 to 10, though. The rounds are still pretty much in advantage for Tendon and Clux. Clux finally dying here, but however, trading to Tendon. X with 36 HP. Tendon, all he has to do is hit that one sticky or pipe again. He's confirming another round for his team. But with the escape plan, he can really run so fast and just avoid any type of spam from Tendon, which he is able to do pretty convincingly here. And I mean, this is just an annoying situation for Tendon to be in. All he has to do is hit the thicky, and he does onto X. Great prediction of his movement there. X going to get bombing Tendon immediately. Tendon with a great surf, though. Clux with the cleanup, but 4 HP. He's not going to be able to do anything afterwards. One pipe from Tendon will be able to confirm this round, though. It doesn't, though. It doesn't connect as the round starts again. Oh, but a bomb from X onto Clux immediately kills him. And rounds are slowly creeping onto Tendon and Clux from the side of One Ties and X. And it could be... Oh, it's definitely going to come a little bit closer here at TC.
It is going to be closer as we get into the final few rounds of this second part of Map 2. One Ties and X have to try and figure out some way to claw back because Tendon and Clux are only 3 away from sending us to a third map. One Ties in a position he's been in so many times, but is he going to win it? No! For maybe the first time in a while, Tendon is going to be actually able to defend himself and win that Scout v Demo 1v1. Now 13 to 19, only one stopping them from getting in. They immediately demolish the Soldier. Can Tendon do it again, or is One Ties going to be able to clutch out and get in, keep his team in it? He does. 14 to 19. Every round has so much more riding on it. Early kill on the One Ties might seal the deal, and it does. It is going to be 20-14 as the score as we go in onto a third map, almost a mirror of what happened last time, Exile, in the previous bracket. Or in the previous bracket, and I think, if I remember correctly, Gullywash Middle was maybe the closest of the three. If that's the case, we are in for a hell of a treat, as whoever wins this map wins the whole thing. It took a bracket reset to get here. We have gone to all 6 maps, technically, 3 in the first bracket, 3 in the bracket reset. But whoever wins this is going to be the 2v2 MGE.TF Europe Regional winner.
Yep, it did go to the wire in that last bracket, map 3. It was down to the third game to secure the win for Pro Pyro last time. But this time around, Clux and Tendon know what they might need to change, or they kind of know what they'll need to change going forward. Will we see the Demo again, or maybe we might see a Soldier? I mean, Tendon showed a lot of his Soldier prowess in that first map. He might be able to do it again if they calls for it, but his Demo at the last couple of rounds of that last map was very, very impressive. So I can only say he's warmed up to play some Demo, man. He might just do it again. But this map can really go either way here. We're not too sure how either of these teams will change it up yet, but I can only assume that we will see a Demo. That's my kind of biggest assumption here.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because I think, of course, we don't really know, but Tendon, at least in my opinion, has had a little bit more impact when he has been on Demo and seems a little bit more comfortable in that role versus when he's on Soldier. Obviously, could try and shake things up. We saw X have a lot of success and be able to do a lot of really great work getting into good positions on this map, so it's definitely doable as a Soldier, but I agree with you that I would be very surprised to not see Tendon on Demo, at least initially, or at some point in this map, who is the only person we're waiting on, maybe taking a little bit of a bathroom break, as he's now joined in, ready, locked and loaded, fully stocked, got 12 projectiles because he's on Demolitions, man, and going to be trying to help his team clutch this out. Whoever wins this wins it all, as we are going to go live.
Yep, this is our last map of this best of 3 here. Round 1, though, so we could see it 3 or a couple more rounds after this if it comes down to it, but this is a scenario we haven't seen before. I don't think we've seen blue attack red from this angle where they're in both chokes. But this time around, X counters and jumps right into Clux's face there, finding the kill. First round going over to X and one ties. I can already tell they're playing this so much more differently. If you can see what I'm seeing, TC, they're kind of taking the space on their own side and playing off that kind of positioning instead of pipe onto one ties. Great pipe, confirming the round. Just playing this completely off the high ground instead of just kind of 1v1ing and running at their faces like they did before off point.
Yeah, they are, and you can even see sometimes Tendon is willing to go sticky jump in and take that little bit of self-damage to be able to get on that height and be able to rain down projectiles. He is going to be able to find one in X, but he still has to deal with the Scout. Actually gets a really great damage onto a one-ties who's now on below ground, trying to dodge around, but Tendon predicts it beautifully with an amazing sticky. It is going to be a 3-1 lead, and it seems like whatever they have talked about, you know, getting this early ground is working out for them. Of course, it was close beforehand. X and one ties are not going to roll over and just let Clux and Tendons take this for free, but it seems like they have a lot more of a fight on hands than they maybe would have initially assumed.
Yeah, these fights are looking way more kind of energetic, as they say, as they're taking the space, jumping forward, not afraid to lose a little bit of HP in the process. But this time around, we're looking at more of a mirrored fight here as they take the side of the point instead. But he actually gets some great stickies onto X at the beginning of this fight here. Sticky plays perfectly to kill one time again. 2K for Tendon to finish the kills. Tendon kind of making this whole world actually right now. But Clux immediately dying to X and one ties at the beginning of the next round here. But hitting some great stickies onto X. X is going to live there with the amount of HP and buff he does have left over. So rounds are now finally evened out for X and one ties versus Clux and Tendon. Round 9 looking very close. Clux not finding the value in his pushes anymore. He's not able to find the 1v1 with one ties. One ties knows he might be able to lose those 1v1s, so he's just going to try and bait it more often. And now he's looking for different kind of lanes and angles to fight in for Clux to kind of do as much as he can.
Yeah, but it seems like they've been able to figure out some kind of counter here to Tendon and Clux going super aggressive. As they've stopped going as aggressive, they are still going to take the high ground, playing around it. Clux very weak already. Now it's only going to be Tendon and not going to be able to win that one. I think just kind of kill biting himself there to get things moving a bit quicker. Now, actually, it is going to be because he swapped off onto Soldier, so we are going to have a little bit of a swap up. I don't think that Clux and Tendon were doing that bad, but they are going to change things. They're probably going to win this first one. It is a 2v1, and they are going to be successful there. So yeah, Tendon swapping off onto Soldier. I didn't necessarily predict that.
Some great rockets already, though, onto X as a counter bomb happens. And Clux with 6 HP, will he be able to get the meat shot on the one side? He doesn't here. But so yeah, switching to Soldier here was not something we totally expected after the rounds that he's already secured for his team. But he's seeing some great rockets in these fights already. That I actually think that Soldier might have been the play here. As one ties and X kind of run away for their lives here. Not to eat those early rocket spam to Tendon, but X is taking some great spam himself, evening out the playing field, actually giving his team the advantage and help there. A 160X with the shotgun is something you want to be afraid of when you're Clux, and he wasn't too afraid of him there, and it cost him his life. 13 HP Tendon, not able to do anything. As the round resets here, what are they going to do in order to kind of edge out more rounds for Clux and Tendon? But X and one ties just playing that passive way. They're just spamming on their side of the map. One ties pistols down Clux, Tendon looking for some sort of push on them. And you can already tell that they're getting impatient the way X and one ties are playing.
Yeah, they are. They're just trying to... They're kind of getting corralled into this area almost every single time, and Tendon going to be able to win that one with the shotgun. And seems like they're kind of like... It is a very interesting game of, you know, kind of developing a strategy and then developing the counter strategies. Now one ties and X are now... X going to be able to actually win that one against Clux. It's going to be Tendon versus X. Both very weak. Shotguns equipped. A little bit more health for X, but not necessarily a confirmed win, as Tendon does manage to get it right there. And that is going to be 10-8. So very, very close. And yeah, the Soldier definitely being a boon right now for Tendon. Going in for the bomb with the shotgun equipped. Not going to have enough damage then. I think this should be one ties and X closing it out. I say that Clux gets 2. Wow, that was a huge clutch up from him.
That was insane from Clux. The pistol coming out, confirming 2 kills in the same clip is absolutely insane. Something you only see at the highest level of play, but good damage coming out from Tendon as he trades his life for potentially another kill, but he was not able to get it as one tie that actually able to clean up the damage. But the rounds are very close now, so we're seeing a comeback as well for clux and Tendon as they were down a couple rounds earlier in this game with an advantage at the beginning but falling off later on. But the rounds are slowly coming back. Tendon winning his 1v1 against X, but with one tie being 100 HP versus clux's low HP, it not seeming like a winnable fight there for either player on blue. Ooh, was that a speed shot coming out of Tendon to bomb the scout? I'm not really sure, but one tie's going down to really low HP. Does not end up finding a kill for clux, but the HP discrepancy there was more X-sided. He does get the kill, 14-10 for the side of X and one ties, as the HP is going slowly down on the side of red. Slowly and surely, Tendon might be able to find a kill here, but he doesn't look like he will. Clux finds the 2 kills he needs to get there. Tendon with the shotgun for range does end up getting the cleanup here. And with the mid control itself, Clux and Tendon will try to eventually advance into the side of X and one tie's kind of defense, but it's always looking really bad when they push back in. It seems like they're always low amount of HP, but this time they hit their shots and it matters very much so.
Yeah, it does, and it's funny to see how X and one ties are kind of, oh my, nice rockets from X to be able to get those 2 kills there, but X and one ties almost kind of immediately at the start of these rounds just kind of rotating over to their left side to be able to try and counter the early kind of mid aggression or point control as Tendon with the skill stick out is able to get one onto X as they're not even really contesting for it. And Tendon has been so aggressive with these soldier bombs, even kind of jumping twice, which is a lot of health drained from him with the shotgun equipped. So being very liberal with his health, and it's been working. They've been closing it up, kind of closing the distance, but it's going to be down to the wire for these last few. X with a nice rocket onto Tendon, only going to be clux. We've seen him clutch up here before. Don't know if he's going to be able to do it this time. Playing on below ground is going to kill bind and just send us to another round, 16-14.
Now they're so close. It's still anybody's game here as clux and Tendon look for the push. X and one ties have such a great defense, but once they find the entry, clux is able to get to. They just got to find that initial opening, and then they're able to create so much from it. Early damage from one ties onto one ties, actually going down to 43 HP, and then loses the fight against clux in the 1v1. Tendon make sure he saves his scout so it doesn't become a trade for no reason. However, clux is ignoring one ties on the angle he can't really pay attention to. Does get the pick onto X, but with 5 HP, he's not going to really be able to do anything much after that, as clux and Tendon are able to just stand on the ground on the point. And watching this defense surely is so aggravating, but they are able to just get the kills. If X and one ties can't hit their shots in that corner, then they're just kind of dead meat. And it looks like they are able to do a bit more damage this time around, but it comes down to the scout 1v1. Whoever wins this kind of confirms the round here. One tie's going down to red HP, but the red HP players are going to die first.
Yeah, they are, and it is forcing X to finally start the rocket jump just to get on this high ground a little bit quicker, not be caught up in that corner. It's starting to feel more and more like a mid-fight every single time, Exile, as if these strategies evolve. Tendon super weak, as is going to go down with only 8 health, so it is going to be 18-18. Whoever gets 2 rounds first is going to be able to walk away as the victors in the first round of this 3rd map. Tendon and is going to be able to find one. Clux finds one, only 1 point stopping them from getting this first round of this first map, and they find an early one onto X. Is one tie's going to be able to clutch up here. He's rotating the round. He's got a little bit of help to play with, but not enough, as Tendon with 2 rockets makes it 20-18. And you gotta wonder, you gotta think, I mean, you're a competitor. You've been in situations, maybe not this exact one, but things like this. If you are X and one ties, you've went through a bracket reset. You have won a total of, let me do the math, 3 maps at this point. It would be so incredibly painful to lose it here, the 3rd last possible chance after all the hard work you've done. How do you stop yourself from not getting too, like, tilted?
Well, you definitely need some time to kind of recuperate and think about the next game, but they didn't really give themselves that much time to kind of reset into the next game as we're talking about, and it looks like they're doing the kind of exact same strategy, so I think they're thinking, well, if we hit more shots here, we're definitely going to win. So that's the kind of motif to go off of in this game. But Tendon is the one that hits his shots the most in that round, confirming the kill on the scout and getting a cleanup from clux onto X. So if anything's going to have to change for the side of red, X and one ties, it's going to have to be not letting them counterplay them the way they are right now. They're kind of giving them a lot of options just by running into that corner, giving them the entirety of the map pretty much to play around. But this round, we see a little bit more variance as X jumps onto the mid fight and gets the kill onto clux. But with the pistol from one ties, Tendon needs to do his shotgun, and he doesn't hit the shotgun. So a round finally going to the side of X and one ties. But great rocks coming out of X to start this, and I think they must have heard us there at TC Mono, because they're starting to play way out of their comfort zone, it looks like.
Yeah, they are. X is now jumping to try and take control of that middle area, which is, you know, the typical Gullywash middle thing between two soldiers. We haven't really seen it so far, especially in the first time we saw this map, but things have been shaken up here. It is going to be, however, X and one ties back again in this little corner. They are going to find one onto clux, so they have a lot better chance of being able to take down Tendon than they do. It is going to be tied now 3-3. 3 quick rounds coming back for X and one ties to be able to keep themselves in this second round of the third map. Going to be rotating back into that little cubby, into their kind of choke point, essentially. Going to be playing around what would be Banana, as it's going to be clux being immediately traded out for X. Now Tendon super duper weak, but is going to fall as well. So it is going to be X and one ties getting the lead for the first time in this second round.
It's important to note that these players are definitely hitting their shots when they really need to. Like, those very important shots are connecting like 95% of the time. There's only that small margin of error that we see them missing in them, but most of the time they are connecting their shots, which is very important to see in a grand finals, like an MGE tournament like this. As we say that, though, Tendon is failing to hit the rocket, but he actually does hit the rocket onto one ties. So as I say that, the percentages do come true. Statistics do not lie. As one ties goes down to the side of clux's pistol. Another bomb coming out of X to confirm that corner, but I think the spawn side, I think this map is going to be super dependent on spawns for the side of X's bomb. If he doesn't get the spawn he kind of wants on that left side, he kind of just gets stuck on the point instead and gets kind of killed and cleaned up. For clux and Tendon, it's kind of counter-aggression there. So every time we see kind of the spawn of X and one ties, it kind of depicts how they're going to play the mid. So that's kind of something we're going to pay attention to.
It is, sorry, I was just going to say, they're both crouching behind this crate, both trying to take cover, but one ties cleans them up 1-2 right there. Going to be 6-7 as X going to be able to get onto the point without losing too much health. His teammate, however, one ties goes down. Now it's going to be clux versus X. X, very weak, is going to get shot down 6-8. Going to be able to make his way, jump on top of the point, tries to claim control of it. The classic not Badlands, Gullywash Spire moment happening there between the two soldiers. It is going to be the scout of one ties, super long range, just kind of playing that distance, getting that nice pistol spam in there as a kind of slowly whittling down Tendon. Doesn't have enough hit points to try and jump in, close the gap, and make it a more favorable fight for him. So it's going to be 7-8.
It was a close try, though, from Tendon to kill one ties at that low of HP. A splash rocket there would have been perfect if he was able to hit it here. Clux maybe going for the kill here. He does not with the hit scan from both one ties and X. 8-8 in rounds here. Round 17. Clux finding the kill onto one ties. Easy kill, and then Tendon with the cleanup onto X. Great rocket nonetheless. I think Clux's play, honestly, recently has been trying to deny that right side so they can't take positioning to, you know, have an easier fight for themselves. Great shotgun, though, from Tendon onto one side. It does get shot in craters, but a good attempt overall here. Clux, again, same positioning as last time, but this time he gets more aggressive. However, does not get met with much result. But again, same rollout from both teams. Soldier v soldier this time, scout v scout, and again, Clux finds his man with the 1v1. Always wins those 1v1s when he has the chance to. It's round 21, even rounds for both teams. Again, the 1v1 does happen, but it does get interrupted by X, but Tendon finds his 2. I think Tendon's doing a very good impersonation of what X was doing in the first best of 3. Finding the kind of end of the round kills when they matter, and he's the most healthiest player. And I think this is exactly what he needed to do from kind of the first showing of Soldier, as well as in this best of 3 bracket reset.
Yeah, doing really, really well, but of course X and one ties keeping it extremely close. Their their hopes and dreams on the line here is going to be X backed up into a corner, is going to get shot down 11-13. They've got to try and find something if they want to stay and have a shot at being the top dogs for the 2v2 MGE.TF season. They're in that corner. X gonna have to jump out over to safety, get a little bit more space, a little bit more distance between him and the enemy. He finds one on the clux, finds another on the tendon. That's what you like to see if you're him. Now gonna jump up over, try and isolate the scout. They take down clux, really great awareness right there to be able to get him down, take him out of the fight, and it's gonna be a 14-13 game. Once again, X jumping forward. They want to try and help. He wants to try and help One Ties with this kind of 1v1 that clux is willing to take over in this crowded area. And it's been working out the past couple of times, just jumping over, trying to isolate the scout. But I think maybe they've caught on to it a little bit. Tendon a little bit closer to help out clux. Be able to find one, able to find another. 15-14.
Hitting some great rockets onto One Ties last round really confirmed them the victory there. X can't really do much counterplay if his scout's getting kind of directed from that range, and they're capitalizing it really well for clux and tendon. But this time around, the HP is looking so close together. Clux with 4 HP gets cleaned up quickly by One Ties. The situation Tendon can't really be the winner in is this fight right here, so we can only assume that he's just going to kill bind soon, or in fashion maybe just shoot himself, but he is trying a little bit actually, which is different. But X finds the kill onto Tendon. 4 more rounds for X and One Ties to actually confirm them as the champions, but the counter from Clux and Tendon are able to keep them in the game longer. The rounds are so close, this could be anybody's game still. And I think if X and One Ties win this, it will go down to the round 3, so all they gotta do is 3 more rounds and they can keep playing longer. But Clux finding the entry immediately, gonna give them another round here. 4 more rounds for Clux and Tendon, they will be the champions, but we will have to see if they kind of want it as much as they think they do, and gameplay it might show that.
Yeah, they're doing very, very well to tie it up 17-17. This is do or die for X and One Ties right here. They're going to be, once again, in their corners, their side of the map, kind of corralled into it, doing some great damage. They're all so weak. It is going to be clux only at 8 health, so can't really commit too much to this fight if he wants to try and stay alive and just be a threat. Actually gets one on the One Ties playing around the corner. X only 12. There's a taunt coming out. That's a little bit of disrespect there. And Tendon with the rocket. They're definitely feeling themselves. Tendon and clux are at the moment, but they're not out of the woodwork just quite yet. One Ties and X still have a chance to try and take us to a 3rd round on this 3rd map. They get a nice kill onto Tendon. Clux is gonna fall to One Ties, or sorry, vice versa. But now Clux actually does clutch out, and this could be it, Exile. This could be the very last round if a Clux and Tendon are able to close it up. X and One Ties, they've got to play this perfectly, but losing one's not the way to do it. And just like that, they have won a 2nd round and the 3rd map and the whole entire series. GG's being thrown in the chat as it is going to be Clux and Tendon on top.
Wow. I was expecting a lot more shit talk at the end of that, honestly, but I didn't see any. Just GG's, some good camaraderie there. Because based on what I read, I feel like the gameplay that was matched there, for vice versa, it was like X and One Ties playing very passive, kind of quote unquote not the right way to play, right? And then Clux and Tendon playing that very aggressive aggro, trusting their own DM and each other's DM to kind of win out those rounds. And at the end of the game, I noticed that X and One Ties did this the only time they've ever done this. They were both on the other team's side of the map in their original spawn location. That was the first time it ever happened, and you can tell us because the situation got so tense that they got out of their comfort zone and it ended up getting them killed in the end. And I think that just comes down to that Clux and Tendon were really locked in the whole time. X and One Ties probably checked themselves out immediately after the first best of 3, or even maybe after map 2, because map 2 is kind of a hogwash, honestly. So yeah, you can kind of tell the determination that it took for for Clux and Tendon to really kind of edge out there and win. So GG's to them. I mean, they had a lot going through this whole thing, and watching them win was kind of a breath of fresh air. But again, I think they only ever lost once, and it was in the first bracket reset. So they edging out a win there. It probably made sense to the people watching that they win. So GG's to both teams, though.
Yeah, GG's to both teams. You know, they were undefeated in the regular season and undefeated for most of playoffs. I guess you could still say that they were undefeated because technically this was all one match, even though there was a bracket reset in the middle of it, depending on how you want to qualify it and, you know, mark it down for the history books. But in the main things, Clux and Tendon having a really great season, winning season 1 and now winning season 2, starting to build a little bit of a dynasty between the two of them. But, you know, for One Ties and X, you have to say that they did play phenomenally. if if we didn't have this bracket reset for whatever reason, which we always were going to, or it was always scheduled to, but in that one moment where it seemed like it wasn't going to happen, you got to think like, oh, we won this. Like you said, like maybe they were a little bit checked out, thinking, hey, we've done it. We did all we need to do. They weren't so checked out as Tendon, who uninstalled the game. He was probably very checked out. So it's big props to him to be able to check out and then check himself back in a just a few moments, realizing there was still a fight to be had. But One Ties and X, you got to say that they played very, very well. It was extremely close, and it was definitely possible for them to win this match today.
Absolutely. I mean, how do you come back after that first best of three where you uninstall your game? Multiple players almost uninstalled their games at the same time, and then you come back and win the whole thing, winning 4 rounds in a row after being down 0-2 in the first map. Like that's a very impressive thing to see. And I mean, it showcases their talents
I
together
guess
as a team. But I think they're the 1v1, the best 1v1ers according to like their league in MGETF, which is like impressive that they were able to just. Oh no, actually no, they're the best 2v2 duo. So the 2v2 duo won the 2v2, so that makes sense. Okay, X and yeah, X was the best 1v1 or part of the duo there. Okay. Yep. So it makes sense though, but GG's nonetheless. And I think, dude, watching clux play was really impressive, man. Watching good scouts play with such good, momentum, how they play, they hit their shots well. Like that, as a scout player myself, I really respect that. So yeah, I learned a lot from watching this MG T Simano.
Yeah, the 2v2 MG is always fun. If you're looking at this and you're at all interested, go to mge.tf to check it out as they've got a lot of great MGE action, both 1v1 and 2v2 in a bunch of different regions. If you're not in Europe and you're like us and you're from North America, don't worry, as they have got a lot of leagues happening out here as well. And I think in other regions, I'm not quite sure, but a great way to know is by clicking on that link in chat. And there was a prize pool as well. I'm not sure how much it was, but a lot of their leagues do end up having prize pools. So if that's an incentive for you, definitely check it out. But they also got medals, and there's also pride as well, which is what I think a lot of people in this community end up playing for at the end of the day. So definitely stop by there. It's a really great community. MGE.tf has done a lot to kind of put some life into this game and into these game modes, which I think is always great to see.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to thank everyone for watching this match today, and thank you for tuning in to Fireside Cast. I think everyone should take a look at MG.tf for the league as well. If anyone's interested in playing, go ahead and take a look at that. I mean, man, watching MG really inspires a little bit in me too. So maybe I should take a look at doing that as well. So yeah, but GG's everyone. Do you want to take our outro?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching the grand finals of the MGE.tf 2v2 season in the European region. It was Papa Tense coming out as the victors, clux and Tendon winning versus Pro Piro, which was X and One Ties. Very close. It was a bracket reset series, but Papa Tense able to win out. So congratulations to them. And we will see you guys next times here at Fireside Cast for some more amazing high octane TF2 action. Till then, have a great night or great day.